The simple truth of it is that Kimberley's political and moral judgment was vastly superior to the small number who opposed her internally. And of course, there's a lot I could say about the unpleasantness of a cantankerous cabal, not all of them in Parliament, that was aimed at Kimba. And the intensity of it did baffle and hurt her. But I hope it's sufficient to say she deserves so very much better. The truth is that the vast majority of the Labor family were welcoming and supportive and encouraging and admiring of Kimberley, and they told her so often. Her capacity to impress and work with and win over Labor's foes on the crossbench, on the Conservative side, was stunning. It's called leadership. It is in fact the only reason Australia has Magnitsky laws, currently being used to sanction Putin's puppets in response to his attempted conquest of Ukraine. So despite the harshness of some of it, truth be told, what I saw was that Kimba had a deep love of her time in the Senate. She was, as we say, living her best life. She was perfect for the Senate, and it was perfect for her. A senator's senator, as her friends and colleagues Josh Burns and Senator Dean Smith described her. She was precise, creative, bold, clever, brutal, and inexhaustible in Senate estimates. And I'd been on the receiving end quite a few times, as you may imagine, of Kimberley's questioning technique. So it pleased me to see it unleashed on others. I used to say to her that I was her practice witness. And while I make no excuses for anyone, I'm not in a position to give lectures about being nice in politics. I'm not going to stand here in this place and blame any one person or any one meeting or any campaign of unpleasantness on what is, in my faith, which is now such a source of comfort, on what is God's will. Her friends and ferociously loyal staff are angry about how she was treated. Of course they are. And I have no quarrel with them about that. They know what they saw with their own eyes. But if I'm angry with anyone, I'm angry with myself. I'm angry I wasn't driving her around that busy day, as I often did. I'm angry I didn't meddle enough in her health. I'm angry I failed and failed again to persuade her to slow down. I'm angry I couldn't and didn't protect her from menace, and I fear I attracted some. I used to read her poetry in a very unsuccessful attempt to appear cultured, and she liked Henley. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. She was unafraid in all things, unafraid of all foes. She wanted to be the Defence Minister or Foreign Affairs Minister when the time was right, and she rightly believed that the time suited her. She worried, well informed by official and unofficial briefings. She constantly sought from Defence and many sources that we weren't doing enough to keep the country safe. And she was utterly determined to fix that long before our capability was ever tested in looming conflict. She was willing to endure internal hostility in order to shift the needle in big debates as she did repeatedly on issues, including Belton Road debt traps, Magnitsky, the Port of Darwin, the attempt to criminalise cash transactions, and many others. She exemplified the courage and creativity that we all say we want from candidates for public office. But on all sides, we too often shun both, favouring useful idiots, obedient nudniks, and bland time servers. I am so proud that Kimberley was a shining beacon of what could and what should be in our public life. Kimba and many other Labor people, and a few Liberals as well, I think, loved the Kennedys. And she was particularly inspired by that fierce anti-communist idealist Bobby Kennedy, on whose words she would frequently draw. He once said, "Few will have the greatness to bend history itself. But each of us can work to change a small portion of events, and in the total of those acts will be written the history of this generation. For each time a man or woman stands up for an ideal, or acts to improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, he or she sends forth a tiny ripple of hope, and crossing each other from a million different centres of energy and daring, those ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance." He said, and to me it's like he's describing Kimberley and her courage, "Few are willing to brave the disapproval of their fellows, the censure of their colleagues, the wrath of their society. Moral courage is a rarer commodity than bravery in battle or great intelligence. Yet it is the one essential, vital quality for those who seek to change a world that yields most painfully to change. Moral courage. She had it. Not enough of us do. I know I don't. Of course, Bobby's courage led him to be killed so young, and his brother sent him off with these words, which I've always loved, and I'll paraphrase in conclusion today, which so perfectly capture my beautiful Kimba and the life of love, daring, honour, self-sacrifice and courage she lived. "My wife need not be idolised or enlarged in death beyond what she was in life, to be remembered simply as a good and decent woman who saw wrong and tried to right it, saw suffering and tried to heal it, saw a looming war and tried to stop it by being vigilant and strong. Those of us who loved her and who take her to her rest today, pray that what she was to us and what she wished for others will someday come to pass for all the world. Thank you, Kimba, until we meet again."